What's up guys, it's Ashtinho Plays and welcome to episode 23 of the Sheffield United Career Mode series. So today we have the first squad update of 3. By demand in the comment section, I'm going to do one ahead of every game now, and it actually seems to make sense because the squad does change throughout the episode. So thanks for that suggestion. It's going to be in practice in this episode. As you can see here, just 2 changes. Wilson in for the slightly tired Dunn, and same scenario with Campbell Rice and Hannah. So just 2 little changes there really to do with fitness more than anything. And the squad is still pretty much the same in terms of the core of our side against Coventry at home. So we've got our first win of the season against Coventry away from home. In this home game hopefully we can get 3 points. And Reed here, who went through, set us off on the perfect start. 12 minutes on the clock and we were already 1-0, asserting our authority over the game. Great counter-attacking move, not fully shown in the clip, but it was great football nonetheless. And Wilson here did nearly embarrass himself, but it was considerably offside, so he was spared the blushes. And Wilson played a smart ball into Reed here, but he miscalculated it. And the keeper benched it out. And here, Murphy plays the ball into Lamiras, and that draws the save from the keeper. Good save too. And Wilson here shows a bit of trickery to get past his defenders, but the finish was tame.
Nice bit of footwork from the attacker.
And Wilson here again is playing a nice bit of skill to just get away from his defender. And it almost resulted in an embarrassing own goal here, but it was a great recovery. Eventually put that one out for a corner that came of nothing. And this bit of play resulted in Baxter out of nowhere just hitting the post. A bit unlucky actually. Then Reed, when he got his chance at the end of the game, sealed it once and for all to guarantee the 3 points. We've been holding on pretty well, but the second goal sealed it and guaranteed we'd be leaving the game with another 3 points to contribute towards our end goal in the season, which is obviously to at least get promoted. And in our last game, in fact, on professional difficulty, Wigan and Bradford both won.
Barnsley won.
Great.
Southend United.
So our work is cut out on world class difficulty. It didn't go well last time, but hopefully it'll go better this time. I think we're on better form and we've got more into our stride, I'd say. We've really started to hit form of late, and hopefully we can take that form into the world class difficulty. It's mainly an exercise for the last 10 games to get used to it before we do it for a full season in the championship. And it's imperative that we're used to it, because if we're not, then we'll really struggle next season. But hopefully that won't be the case. So here, despite the fact we went up a level, there was no change in the scenario. It was pretty much the same story. Great football from us, and we had that cutting edge too to get the goal for 1-0. Very early in the game, in fact. Mostly we don't score that early in games on professional difficulty. Never mind world class. So it was going well for us, and here Balmston gets booked for a cynical challenge, knowing he couldn't catch up to Campbell Rice, and just brings it down. Here though, careless by Howard, and that finish, well, wow, I don't know anything to say about it. I've seen so many poor ones that one doesn't really warrant a response. And here Reed makes a poor decision not passing to Dunn. As you can see there, he's visibly not happy. But he doesn't need anyone else. As soon as he picks up the ball, he does all of the work himself here and makes it 2-0. Not for the first time he's done that as well. But even at 2-0, it still wasn't fully completed. And they hit the post here. That miss, well, that's by far the worst. That is by far the worst. And then Baxter here from a hard chance shows him how finishing is really done. So when someone can't score from an open goal, he shows them that actually we're just, you know, a slight bit better than them in the finishing department, perhaps. Just maybe. Speculating perhaps, but maybe we're a little bit better than them. I mean, 3-0 might just have flattered us, but you know, not like we dominated or anything. But perhaps not on stats.
English
never
Football League One. Barnsley.
What am I talking about now, mind? Let's focus on the next game. So yeah, next game, again, not much change. I seem to be fixated on Edgar. I mean, yeah, he's a good defender, but I'm sure everyone would love to see the other players' faces. But they're not going to get to see it until this game against Fleetwood Town. And yeah, I mean, beating them in the FA Cup this season, but whether that really means anything or not is questionable. So hopefully we don't end up doing anything silly in this game. But yeah, Adams passes it to Wilson here, and the ball eventually makes its way to Google. But that finishing was not what we want to see. And here, they were playing some pretty good stuff in front of our goal. And then this finish, out of nowhere. I mean, seriously, that was world class. How are they in League One if they're performing like that? And that was contributed to further when they played this passing move. The trickery there was real. I mean, it was almost as if it was Barca in disguise. And Messi was just morphing into all of their players and scoring every time. And it pretty much happened again here, you could say. Perhaps a bit more lucky, but at this point I was sitting there thinking, well, hey, what can I do? I'm just sitting here and letting it happen. There's nothing I can do about it. When the game is just doing things and you don't actually know what you're supposed to do about it, you know that you're in trouble, and that was the case here when it went 4-0 at home. This is worse than the Wigan game, in fact, which was 4-0 away from home. And you know, it could even have been 5. The only thing that was perhaps respectable about the game was that we didn't concede more than 4. We pretty much did park the bus though, which isn't really acceptable, but you know, thankfully, this has come at a time of the season where we can afford to have a few slip-ups, especially considering that Wigan and Bradford are so good that they managed to lose at home.
Coventry.
I mean, I can't talk because I lost 4-0 at home, but you know, still. The point being, they haven't really gotten themselves anywhere. But yeah, as you can see, table a little bit different because Bradford are no longer 3rd. But the second place team are 11 points behind, so you know, pretty comfortable situation. We can just keep ticking along, winning games. If we do that, we'll get that title that we've been looking for. So yeah, if you want to see us bounce back from that horrific result, leave a like and subscribe. Peace out.